Hello, everyone, and I hope you all are doing well after a lot of last minute heckling and managing to do this preview after a lot of technical glitches that we had to find out. And this is the best time to do it for the Australia versus West Indies game. We are 12 hours prior, and it's going to be a ping ball test. And yet again, it'll be at Adelaide. And we have Nikhil Bhai with us today to carry you through the preview, the test match specialist, like I call him.
Nene, very kind. Of course, thank you for having me. Test matches, yes, does feel far more predictable as compared to Carlos Brathwaite taking 4 for 14 odd in Sri Lanka Premier League game. It's just that kind of year. Hopefully, more common sense in test matches.
Yes, will be very, very interesting to watch how it pans out. And before we get to the preview, something that I had to share is the jersey winner for the LPL game. We had asked how many runs will Cesara Pereira score. Manish predicted it in the closest manner, 16 runs, which was accurate. And like we mentioned, we'll take consideration of balls only if the runs are inaccurate, and only he was correct. So, yes, you're the winner, Manish. So please do DM me on Twitter with your address and contact details, with your jersey size, and we'll do the rest. And many congrats
Bilkul.
again. And on that note, we will look at our preview. And first up, we will start with the venue conditions that will be on offer to you at Adelaide. So, Nikhil bhai, how do you see the venue panning out
So Adelaide usually
over
pink
5
ball
days?
does mean uh, pink ball moving a bit, but it is
Hmm.
usually good to bat on. The average first inning score is 359, so it is quite a bit to begin with. So I think
Hmm.
whoever wins the toss will want to bat first, put up a good score, and then see if they can then use the twilight period and the ball later and get some wickets like that. So I expect again pace to dominate. We've seen that the protrude
Hmm.
seam and the exaggerated movement also that we get at times because of the more seam that is there on the pink ball. So it helps both off
Hmm.
spin and fast bowling. So not going to rule out a Nathan 5 wicket all as well. But before we get to Grand League, yeah, I think it should be good to bat on. And West Indies showed that in the
Hmm.
first game as well. That they
Hmm.
started well, which will be very interesting against the pink ball because I think Stark, Hazelwood, they played too many of them, and the record is very good. So let's see how that
Right.
goes out.
Right, and keeping that in mind, Pat Cummins is ruled out from the game tomorrow morning, and Scott Poland is the likely one to start in his place. And as far as venue conditions are concerned, another point to keep in mind is with ping ball tests, when it's the twilight time, is the time when there will be some movement on offer. So that is generally the toughest phase to play in a ping ball test. So whoever you feel is going to be bowling through that phase, or whoever is going to be batting through that phase, would be the person you'd like to take in the bowling or maybe avoid in the batting. And now we can look at what we'll have in terms of our base team for this game. So base team for this game, and like you can expect, we would have it Australia loaded. That is obviously home conditions and the much stronger team, even
Yeah.
though must not deny that West Indies are going to be expected to give a strong fight. So in the keeping, we have gone with Joshua De Silva. Obviously, we want more Australian bowlers, which means we had to make some compromises up top.
Yeah.
And in the batting, we have gone with Labuschagne and Steven Smith, who's our captain. Nikhil bhai, any thoughts here on any other batter that you'd be looking towards?
You see, you could potentially take Carey as well for his keeping points, but I don't know how much he'll get to bat.
Hmm.
If you're expecting an Australian collapse and you're dropping their top order, you can definitely go ahead and take both the keepers in that sense. Maybe not take Joshua, but again, I feel there is
Hmm.
always one rear guard 50-100 that Joshua can score, which can happen anytime. So I think that's the logic there. And of course, in this one, we are packing the team with Australian bowlers, which is why that is the option there. From the batting session, Brathwaite, I think the less said is best because he is easily their best batter. And despite batting at the most toughest spot
Hmm.
that is opening, he's found a way to be consistently scoring runs. So I think speaks volumes about the class of the man. And the other two are test specialists here, Marnus and Steve. Now here is where you can take a call on Warner and
Hmm.
Usman. If you feel early wickets will fall, you can take one of them or drop both of them and pack the middle order, which is what we've done here. So if you see the team more in the all rounders, we do have Travis head here. But you could potentially go with any of the openers if you feel they'll come off. For West Indies as well, be very sure how Kyle Mayers is playing, whether he's playing as a pure batter or will he bowl. You have other options where Tagner and began very well. But again, it's going to be, there will be some movement up top. Every time they may not get a great start, both teams. So again, it's a call that you can take with the batters.
Yes, absolutely. And keep in mind that Warner's form in this format has not been too encouraging. And because we want to have more bowlers in the team, we had to make a form-based drop, and hence we have dropped Warner in this scenario. And in the batting, we have gone with Scott Boland, Mitchell Stark, Josh Hazelwood, Nathan Lyon, and our differential pick from here is Jaden Seals. And it's basically one between Jaden Seals and Alzari Joseph that we're going to look at for the final slot. And vice captaincy has gone to Josh Hazelwood. So, Nikhil bhai, how do you balance this? Do you feel like because it's a pink ball test, maybe spinners don't get as much help, or do you feel like that Lion will be able to extract it just because purely of his quality and he's done well in the past even in this format?
Now, it is something that I have a very biased approach towards. Last game as well, my vice captain was Nathan Lyon, and he picked up a six
Hmm.
for. So I was delighted by the end of the match, may not be during the match. So I think he is a better bowler when he's bowling second. That is bowling in the
Hmm.
second innings and the fourth innings, as compared to bowling left in the first innings. There, I feel your patience might be of much more importance. So that's a very subjective call that you can take. I still feel uh, the kind of bowler Lion is, he'll always benefit bowling in Australia because he's somebody who relies on top spin a lot more, and he's very good at extracting that bounce
Hmm.
as well from the surface. So I don't think I'll take a risk on Lion. As we discussed earlier, I think the call for me is between Holder and Alzari Joseph. I'm very tempted to take both Seals and Joseph, but I know it's going to be very tricky because then it leaves me with just two
Hmm.
batters from West Indies, which may or may not work completely. So that's the risk that you have to take. If you have a gut feel on that, please go ahead and do it. And of course, from the other options that you have, if you feel West Indies will bowl first and they'll take wickets, you can go with three paces from there. But I still feel Australia should be able to negate them better.
Yes, and because the pink ball test, the famous record that you want to keep in mind that Australia have it 9-0 as far as pink ball tests are concerned. So they'll want to maintain that record come this one. And some of the top wicket takers in pink ball tests are the guys who you can see on your screen currently. And hence, we have decided to take the risk on the batting more on the bowling.
Yep.
So now we look at what Grand League picks we have for this specific game before we look at whatever questions you guys do have. So Nikhil bhai, we have very few Australian players left to have as Grand League picks. So I'd like to hear if you have someone who is actually captaincy, vice captaincy from one of our bowling section or from the batting section.
Yes, I'm going all Scott Boland for Australia. Again, he's somebody I don't know how many will pick. He could be a very
Hmm.
handy differential for you to try. But again, be very sure of the conditions. If you feel Australia is batting first and then maybe Scott will not be able to do much, it's purely going to be a gut feel call for you in that sense. I'll still stick with Scott Boland. He helped me visit England as well. Terrific series in that sense. Was my vice captain in most games that he played. So it's a call that the bowlers work for me, which is I've gone with Scott Boland. And for
Hmm.
West Indies, I'm going with Roshan Chase. I feel he's someone who's not used his potential much, and that he also bowls often. I just feel that he could potentially give you a three wicket here, a 50 here, and if that happens in two out of the four innings, I think you're done. So I think that way they both give you enough returns. I feel.
Right, very fair calls to make. My two calls for this game, as far as Australia is concerned, I think Mitchell Stark can be a good differential captaincy or vice captaincy choice. So I think I'm going to go for him. And as far as West Indies is concerned, he's already in my team in Jaden Seals. So I think
Yeah.
that he will be a good differential for you to try. Maybe not him as captaincy or vice captaincy, but in your team itself, he will be a differential pick compared to the rest.
Yep.
And we are open to taking all your questions now. And Boland, Green, and Nesser may be playing tomorrow. Yes, they might be playing tomorrow. The only confirmation that we have is Cummins is not going to play, and that he did say that he's the most likely one to replace him, which means he should be the one playing.
Yeah, and again, it's a call with Green and Nesser that
Any
okay,
other?
Nesser is a great potential.
Hmm.
So you have to be very sure okay, how much bowling he's going to get in that lineup. So if you feel that he's one of their top four options, definitely go ahead and pick Nesser as well.
Yes, absolutely. Thoughts about Chandrapal. So, Nikhil bhai, give us the thoughts on how you feel about his technique or the batting that you've seen of him.
I think he's got off to a very good start. Don't think he could have asked for anything else. Handy 50, almost a very good knock in the next one as well. Again, Australia is not an easy place to
Hmm.
tour and get going early, and pink ball will only exaggerate or make that challenge that much more tougher. What should definitely also help him is that Craig Brathwaite is a very solid option at the other end. So if he can combine well with Craig and get a good stand consistently, it will go a long way in helping West Indies be in the game a lot more. So again, very exciting prospect. Of course, there's a lot of nostalgia when you hear such names because you associate history with them. So hopefully he can carve a name for himself in his own right. And yeah, let's see how he goes.
Yes, absolutely. Will be one to watch out for come the second game too. And yes, mighty Manas all the way
Yeah.
should be the call. Can it's a one-sided game, obviously. So, which batter should we drop between Warner, Khwaja, and Smith? So, sir, in the team that we presented, we put out our thoughts on what we feel about it in terms of maybe Khwaja and Warner being the safer ones to drop. But anything additional from you on this, Nikhil bhai, on whether you feel like you can pick one of them in some sort of scenario?
See, I'm again going to be very skewed in terms of smaller sample size and what I saw of Warner. I feel batting first is
Hmm.
when probably Warner is at his best. The issue here is Warner hasn't had enough test match or 4-day cricket in the coming. And so that has just made it a bit more tougher for him to get through. You would say on form, on a recent record, you'd probably go with Khwaja. I think almost of us had
Hmm.
Khwaja in the first game as well. The thing with Smith and Manas is they can do what they did in the last game. They can score very big doubles. So leaving them out becomes very crazy. The thing is, Warner can also do that. But now the catch is you can either drop Head then and take Warner also. But then Head is also somebody who's got a lot of runs at Adelaide. So it's a call that you have to take between if you think Head's runs can nullify for what Warner can score, then you can keep Head. But अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं Warner will score a lot more as compared to Head, then you can switch around and take the top four, which I think is risky if West Indies get the bowling right. But if they don't, then you think they might get the best of the batting for most parts. So yeah, they could do the England what England did in Rawalpindi.
And do you see Australia batting more than once, or you see feel like they'll bat once and put up a big score and then bowl twice?
I'd see. I think the time with so much cricket and all happening, I don't think follow-ons are the norms because they want
Hmm.
bowlers to be properly rested. So it will depend a lot on how
Hmm.
West Indies bat in their first game, and I think that might decide a lot because if they bat first, Australia, only then there might be a contention that do they bat only once. If they bat
Hmm.
second, then it depends entirely on how West Indies go first up. And so, in that sense, maybe this depends entirely on the conditions. I think Australia, if they bat well up top, they might still want to give their bowlers enough rest. So, I don't see them following unless there is a famous 36, 49. Who knows? Hopefully not. Nothing there.
Can can Manis and Smith score one more ton? Sir, they're run hungry. They are the kind of guys who you can trust to score another ton, at least one of them in this game, because they're the kind of guys who will keep coming at you game after game, and they have all the patience in the world. So yes, very
Yeah,
possible.
and luck as well. I feel Manas at times has a lot of incredible amount of luck to begin with, and then he of course capitalizes on that. He gets dropped, gets caught, like dismissed off a no ball. So अगर आपको लगता है कि कुदरत का निजाम होगा विद मार्नस
That's a GL
It's a very
scenario for you there.
yeah. It's just for granted. I don't think it is recommended for small.
Right. Roston Chase will become a very good pick amid
Yeah.
space pack teams. So yes, he's Sir's Grand League pick. So very
Yeah.
possible that you can see that happening.
Yeah, I'll actually make Lan and Chase captain, vice captain in one game, one team for sure. Because I do feel Lan, to anyways, I would have made, but Chase, I feel, is somebody because he bats solo. The thing with Holder and Chase is they get to bat when early wickets have fallen, and then there is no real pressure as such to get on with the game. They get enough
Hmm.
time to get in and score. Slightly disappointed with the way Holder is shaped up so far, but in any Test match series, you often see at least one very good performance from Jason Holder. So hopefully this is that game.
Right. And finally, safe CVC choice. So, sir, no prizes for guessing. Safe CVC choice is Manis and Steve Smith. We have made Steve Smith a captain, which is actually a risky choice because
Yeah.
everyone's going to come with Manis. But yes, that's what it is.
Yeah. And mostly, if Australia bowl first, you're also likely to see people come in with Stark Hazelwood and Stark and one pacer and one number three or number four kind of combination. So it could be जैसे हमने करा है with Steve Josh. People could make Stark Manas, Stark Khwaja, or Josh Khwaja, Josh Warner in that combination. So very few will make all rounders captain vice captain. But again, because it's a test match, it's a massive call to take unless you are very sure on that performance.
Right. And yes, Stark is yes
Yeah.
42. If I'm not wrong, 42 wickets in 7 matches. So that is a lot of wickets, and he has two fifers also in these games. So yes, he
Yeah.
pretty much enjoys it. And did we get a chance to look at the pitch yet? Not yet for me, sir. I do not have any advance info about that. Uh,
I,
Warner
yeah.
scored 335. Yes, sir. Yes,
Uh,
sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was saying there are people at the venue who are not able to read the pitch despite being looking at it for like what days. So we are going to have very little chance of trying to read that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Warner has scored 335 at this venue in the last game. It was this venue, sir, at the
If
Pakistan
I,
game.
yeah, I'm trying to figure if this was that, but
I don't
that's
think
the
the
thing with Warner.
335 was here.
Yeah, maybe we can just confirm that in a minute. I think that's the thing with Warner, right?
Okay,
And
yeah,
also,
it's Adelaide. Yeah.
okay, yeah, three. And he's had decent starts in most games. So that's the thing with Warner. If he gets in and he gets a flurry of boundaries up top, so then the pressure is completely on West Indies. So as I said, if they bat first, I'll probably back Warner a bit more.
Right, and okay, this is the golden question of the day. I don't know
Yeah,
this. Sorry, I can only tell
because
you in
it
the
is
morning.
this is this is still a very decent start time, right? The start time for this one is around 9, so it is fairly okay time to get up. 9:30 a.m. is not too early for me also.
No comments. We'll move to the next question. Spinners with good grip done well
Yeah,
with the ping ball so far. Yes, they have, and will be interesting to see if the only problem with spinners is because in ping ball test there's a lot of help and movement that you get through the twilight and up front. At many points, spinners don't come into the game, and we have seen that in few innings across ping ball test. So that is the only worry when I'm looking at a spinner. Nothing else. Apart from that, when they've got the opportunity, yes, they've done well.
yeah,
Hazelwood has a great second innings record in pink ball. So if he's bowling second, yes, he's our VC, sir. He is
yeah,
our vice captain, and he's my GL captaincy choice with Stark as CVC. So
yeah. I think the thing with Seam also and also with Josh, I think it's the seam that we talked about right up start. Because they have that extra coat of seam on the ping ball, it helps them to grip the ball really well. So which is why I said कि एक जगह पे Austin Chase, and most of the Australian bowlers you see will definitely love bowling with that new ball and the pink ball rather. So you can go ahead with any of them, Josh, Stark, or Scott Boland. So yeah, completely your call.
Yes, and Hazelwood or Bolland. So, Shubham, we have currently gone with both. If you want to accommodate one in your team, then the sacrifice that you'll have to make is one between Travis Head or Nathan Lyon. I don't see us being able to drop anyone else. Those are the two most likely drop candidates. That too, if you feel like Australian pace is totally going to dominate the West Indies batting. So, that's the scenario you'll have to think about before you make that drop. एंड यस सर बीबीएल के ज्यादा मैचेस कवर करेंगे हम डोंट वरी लंका प्रीमियर लीग हैज बीन total roller coaster. One match no wickets are falling, दूसरा match 10 wickets are falling, so I've not even touched small leagues over there till now, but yes, hopefully it's Nikhil I can tell you enough about BBL also, but with DRS coming in this year, hopefully it should be a little better.
Yeah, I think more than the DRS bit, I'm also happy that they've chucked out the X Factor route because I felt that was something that screwed up with me particularly. ऐसा लगा था ये मेरे लिए बनाया गया है कि इसके टिक की बात लगाओ. But of
और
course
डैनी
that is
ब्रिग्स के लिए
yeah, or so that is the thing, right? I think that is going to be very one of the most critical factors for IPL when we see that route come in. It changes a lot of things in fantasy as well because अगर आप किसी पे रिस्क ले रहे हो समझो कल ही के गेम में स्कॉट बैलेंट इफ टेकिंग द रिस्क ऑन स्कॉट बैलेंट and after one inning you see Scott Ballon is replaced. Where do you go? So very keen to see what if the system adapts. Do we see substitutes or not? But yeah, BBL is the one that started this Jai Mata Di ka trend. So let's see how BBL begins in that sense.
Yes, let's see how it goes. Another 30 seconds. If you guys have any questions, you can drop them in the comments. Otherwise, we can end this preview. And thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in at this time in the night. And apart from that, if you have not downloaded the Fan to Play app already, ensure you do it right away. So you get a chance to join their grand leagues. They don't really fill at all times, so you get to join in with some bonus cash there. And what about BBL has been my honeypot in fantasy for a while now. Yes, we get that. For me it's been an extreme sort of ride. Either it's been right in or it's been all out. So it's that perfect mini GL sort of tournament. And I think we have lost Nikhil Bhai's connection. Just trying to get him back on. Okay. What about Cameron Green? Cameron Green, we already discussed. Now he's going to be far out in the bowling line, so we are not too sure when he's going to actually come on and bowl. So, yes, he's going to be far out in the bowling line unless there's some extravagant movement and the three pacers are not getting wickets, which I don't see happening. So, yes, that's why we have not discussed him, and he's going to bat also pretty low. Nikhil, by any scenarios or considerations when you'll end up taking Cameron Green in for this specific game?
Yeah, when I drop the Aussie top order, I'll probably just have Smith, Travis said, Cam Green. In that sense, see, he's so angry
Sorry,
that he kicked me out of the spray. Like, क्या पागल है कुछ भी
sorry.
बोलता है. Pink ball test में Australia को top order collapse होएगा क्या? But again, I mean that is the thing with the thing with people like Travis Head, Cameron Green, they're all utilized best in certain scenarios, which is not the case in test matches and in the longer format. जहाँ पे आप देखते हो कि the key roles are still done by your designated guys. So if you feel they will fail, then you can have a case where Smith has a very big stand, and then you can also pick Carey in Alex Carey in that particular team. So if you're going to drop the top three, then you have the next four, which has two all rounders, and then you can keep two bowlers, and then you have to remember here you have to take West Indies bowlers as well. Because if you're thinking the top order is going to fall, you need somebody to take those wickets. So you can balance it out accordingly, and yeah, you could try him. I don't know if it's captain vice captain material because it might need a proper 2022 performance for that.
Yes, absolutely. And what do I do for a living? You can check my LinkedIn, so you will know that. And can I drop Smith in if Australia bowl first? I would not do that. Nikhil, bhai, any thoughts on when you would be able to do that?
I think not in this form. Agar if it was that you saw Smith struggling a bit or not being in rhythm and scoring runs not in the way Smith does, maybe you could have taken a risk. See, unless you have a very big hunch, okay, this bowler will get him out early, only then you can drop. Otherwise, I don't think Smith in this format, in this point of touch, ever since that ODI that he played, I don't think it is probably recommended. But yes, if you want to win in Grand League, those are the calls that you have to take. So yes, please go ahead and try it in one of your Grand League teams. But small league maybe not.
And I'm seeing a lot of talk about Warner in the comments, so we'll take another
Yeah.
opinion here. And Warner averages 76.86 on this venue and quite difficult to drop. So understandable and very fair, but there are various factors that we'll have to take into consideration. Recent form, the fact that that 335 also skews this average quite a bit, and the fact that even though it's a ping ball test and he has done well in the past, but that recent form not backing him, plus the prospective extra movement that can come in with the ping ball test, will be the real threat. And this is going to be either a clip which is going to be uploaded in a few days, or it's going to be a clip that I am going to get commented on a lot in the next few days.
See, that is always going to be the case with when you take a risk on the opener. क्योंकि that is what an opener like David Warner is a threat for. कि वो चल गया तो भाई वो 250 मार देगा, 300 मार देगा. But that's a risk. See, as I said right at the start of the video, if you feel Travis Head will not cover for Warner, drop Travis Head, take Warner. Don't take a risk, take all their top four. Then you are covered in that sense. Because if Australia get off to a great start, Travis Head should probably be batting for declaration or be batting maybe only once in that case. So you have to go with what you think is likely to happen. Sometimes data may not always be in the way that you want to read it. So, जैसे कोहली का average is around 109 in chases, but in the last few games, it hasn't worked out that way. So it will not always work. But if it goes with your visualization, as you said, Travis Head को निकालो, Warner को रखो, and same is the case with Khwaja. You could drop one of the bowlers, maybe Scott Boland if you want to, and then take Khwaja. So then that will become a very common thing. So again, it is completely your call. Always go with what you feel will happen.
Yes, and most people probably come in with 3 to 4 Australian batters. What we try to do is make something differential, because we are not targeting head to head or three
Yeah.
members. We play either 4 members, 11 members. So keep that in mind. If you're playing a lower risk league, then it makes sense for you to take those low risk players. But if you're playing 4 members, 11 members, then we feel like the differentials can help. And even when they don't help, because we are playing 4 members, in the next game, we can still cover it out. So that's the
Yes.
thinking. अरे सर जाओ पढ़ लो अभी सर पढ़ लो don't spend more time here and guys, if you have any other questions pertaining to other apps, I'm not able to answer them here, but if you have any other queries, bugs, I'm happy to take them up offline. Will not be able to take them up here. And if you have any questions, we can take them up. We thought we'll do a 15-minute preview, but this has gone way longer thanks to some amazing questions and lots of opinions. So
Yes.
we'll wrap it this then. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. If you have any questions or anything that is pertaining or left to be solved, you can DM me on Twitter. Thank you so much for tuning in and have a great game.
Have a good game, guys. Good luck. Keep winning.